I do have a quick meeting.
Okay, can I do
No, you're playing.
my
So you'll have to get ready for kindergarten boot camp, okay?
Okay. Wait, I'm gonna actually run too.
No, you just go and see the school and do different things. So,
Oh,
but you go play, okay? Mommy's gonna do this for a couple minutes.
can you say hi to your friends?
In just a minute, okay? I'll tell you when they're ready. I can't hear you.
Good morning, everyone. Oh, look at everyone. Oh my gosh, so happy to see all of you. Welcome. Welcome. This is beautiful. We're switching things up a little bit today from what I'd originally planned. So hopefully everyone's cool with that. It's going to be really, really good. I'm so happy and grateful to be here with all of you today. Kayla is managing the waiting room, so she's going to be letting people in as we go. Here's what I want to start with. So I would love to hear, for those of you who were here live yesterday, what's your biggest aha? What's your takeaway? You can type it in the chat, or we have space if someone wants to come off mute and share. That's cool too. I always love the engagement with the group, but what is your biggest aha, your biggest takeaway? What shifted for you? Let's hear, let's see. Again, you can type in the chat or I know we got a vocal group in this group because a lot of y'all are clients. So I know you, I know you can talk about it. Jessica's saying, go where you're wanted, not where you're needed. Yes. Yep. When we shift into that energy, we get out of convincing, we get out of attachment, right? With like anyone needing to be our client. And when we can move out of that energy and into an energy that's like, I'm here, what I've got is amazing. If you want to come be part of it, come be part of it. If not, not a big deal. That energy is a big shift in sales. Natalie, time to double your self-care. Boom. Yep. You want to, oh, did you watch that last night in the bonus training? Good. So you all got the bonus training? Please watch it. If you weren't able to watch it, watch it. I thought it was going to be 10, 15 minutes. I should know myself better by now. I think it was closer to 50 minutes, I believe. But it was all the things that we didn't get time to talk about yesterday. So yeah, Natalie, to your point, and that was shared yesterday in the bonus training, you want to double your income, double your self-care. And so that is a really, really powerful, just principle we can use. Kayla, it looks like we've got some more people in the waiting room. If we can let everyone in. Let me see here. Who else? Emma, every goal you set, you're actually trading your life for it. Yes, exactly. Exactly. So beautiful. Rachel, smart goals are out and dreams and passion are in. Yes, we don't need to know the how. And any goal that you know the how for is frankly not worthy of trading your life for, right? Jessica saying, I love the bonus training. I listened to it on my run. Beautiful. Oh, Dorothy, I'm just gonna, there we go. I'm just gonna mute everyone. Okay, beautiful. Zooming out to reconnect to feminine before taking inspired action. These are such good takeaways. Let's see here. Brooke, I'm in a different place with receiving. Yep. Here's what I've learned with receiving. There's always another level. And just when you think that you're like, I've got it, if you want to go to another level, you've got to be open to receive that, right? So you want to go from 10K. I'm just going to use money here as an example. Again, money is, it's just a way that we quantify things, right? That's it. But let's say you want to go from 10K months to 100K months. It's a different level of being willing to receive, right? You're receiving at a different level there. You want to go from 100K months to $1 million months. You got to open up to receiving at another level for that. So there's always another level. But again, I think we talked about this maybe in the bonus training last night, but when you make the goal and you shift the focus of what am I creating, what am I manifesting, away from so much the set dollar amount, although we're holding that energy, but you make instead manifesting the version of you who's a match for that. You make that the goal. The goal happens. It's a natural byproduct. It can't not, but it gets to be really fun. To me, it's like, it's fun. It's like, who is the version of Elise who's available to receive X amount every month, right? And it's a give and take. It's a both and. So it's not all about the receiving, but the feminine is about receiving. And something that I see time and time again with members of this community is when you come in, you got some blocks around receiving. Let's just call it what it is, right? Whether it's trauma, sexual trauma, being told you're unworthy, this or that. And again, like these things were not your choice to receive at whatever point you receive them, but we can decide, do I want to continue that story? Do I want to continue the belief that I'm not worthy to receive? Do I want to continue to choose this? And if not, we are all empowered adults. We can choose something else, right? So we can choose to be worthy to receive. And that's the work. And that's actually the most beautiful gift that you can give to yourself. Debbie from the bonus, I heard several. Oh, I love it. Share a principle in the chat. What showed up for you? Jill, when you shared about how extremely uncomfortable being aligned to my future self can, oh yeah, let's talk about that today. Because that's that's a big one. When we think, oh, this doesn't feel aligned, right? We talked about this in the bonus training yesterday. So again, go watch the bonus if you didn't yet. People will say, actually, you know what? I'm going to say that. I'm going to do a whole piece on this today. So we'll come back to that and do a deeper dive. But it's such a good awareness to notice, what am I aligned to, right? What am I aligned to where this thing isn't feeling right or comfortable, that actually really is what I know is for my good, for my growth, for my expansion, what my soul wants, etc. So really, really good. Okay. Beautiful takeaways. We are going to switch it up a bit today. So I want to start today with the giveaway winner from yesterday. And I also, I was initially, I shared yesterday that we were going to share today some ways to go deeper in working with us, and also some more training on the masculine. We're going to weave the masculine in today. We're still going to weave feminine too. I'm not going to share anything about working more with us until tomorrow. So my heart today is, I really want to have time for live coaching with anyone who wants it. So I just feel like there was so much shared yesterday. And again, normally we have longer time than we do in this training series, but because we've got hour-long chunks, which is beautiful, and we can get a lot done in an hour, but I feel like there was so much shared yesterday. I just want to have time to integrate it with all of you today before we go any further. So please be thinking about what questions you have from what's already showed up, how you want to apply this, right? Is there anything that's like a personal application or coaching question where you want some support around this? So that's what a lot of today is going to be about. I just want to spend time like pouring into each of you and helping you integrate what we've already talked about. Does that sound good? Good. Okay. Beautiful. Giveaway winner for yesterday. I think she's on. Hold on. So we did a giveaway. We're giving away our abundance mini course. To win, you needed to share your biggest takeaway on social and tag me. Rachel, Fairy Tale Weddings. Are you, you're here live, which I don't know if you're in a place where you can come off mute and come on.
I am,
There you
yeah.
go. Hi.
Hi.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
We're so excited. Kayla will connect with you to get you access to the training.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Cool.
Beautiful. Not to put you totally on the spot, but do you want to share with the group what your biggest takeaway was so far?
Yeah. Yeah. Actually, I've always done all these kind of coaching and they, goal settings, and it's never ever felt right to have all these SMART goals, because
Yeah.
I'm like, they just don't make sense to me and I can't ever come up with them. But when you were like, you just have that passion and you put the dream out there and you don't have to know the steps to get to it, that'll just come as you
Yep.
as you go through that, and it
Yeah.
just like, it made so much more sense to me. And it just set, it seemed like a better way to set those goals. And when you're like, if you already know how to do it, it's not big enough yet. And so it was just like,
Mm,
okay, here we go. Like now it's making a little more sense. So that,
yeah.
I mean, there was a lot of other takeaways, but that was kind of like the big aha from the last few years of trying to stick with goal setting.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. And I think what you just said at the very end there is so important, right? Because any goal that we set where we feel like we have to stick with it or we have to try to stick with it, there's something in you that's not lit up about it. It's a should,
Right.
most likely, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
if it always feels forced or fake,
Mm,
maybe like it's what you're
okay.
supposed to do and not what
Yes.
you, not like it's like following the crowd instead of like, no, set your goal where you want it and it'll take you there.
Yes.
Like go lead it.
Yes. Oh my gosh, this is so good. And that's actually, I'm so glad you said that because I think that's a clear indicator that whatever goal you've set isn't actually aligned if you feel like you're having to try to stick with it, right?
Okay.
So I find that if I'm not thinking big enough for myself, if I set a goal that's like reasonable, and I don't do this a lot anymore, but I still catch myself where I'm like, okay, it's like you teach this stuff, you know this stuff. Like, why are you setting a goal that you think is the next logical step, right? So it's still like I still have this happen sometimes. But those goals don't light us up. They're not compelling enough to stick to our soul. Like I think about the things like everything I'm doing in my life right now, virtually everything. There's like some business administrative stuff I got to do that I don't like wake up just about. But most everything in my life right now, I am so effing lit up about. Like really, like wake up out of bed, like, holy crap, what do I get to do today? You know? Now, it doesn't mean that there's not limiting beliefs that get to be overcome. It doesn't mean that there's not like, stuff I get to work through. There's not contra, like, of course, but it's a pull. Everything is so exciting, so big, so tantalizing is the word. It's 11:11. I love it. Where like I can't stop thinking about it. Does that make sense? There's no like should or have to try to stick to, like I can't stop. And that's because the goals are from the feminine, which is the actual vision. Like what do I actually want? Right? They're not smart goals, they're from their soul aligned goals. So yeah, and if you're on this training and you're listening and you don't know what they are yet, that's okay, but keep asking, keep going deeper, keep saying, we've given different prompts throughout this training, but like if there were no consequences or limitations, if I didn't have to know the how, what would I want? What would I desire? What would I love for my life? And then another powerful one, this will help tell you if the goals that you're setting are a should, or you think you should be doing them because they're going to look good to someone else. If I was on an island and no one would know, what would I want? What would I care about? That'll get you your truth really fast, really, really fast. We do a lot of money work with our clients. And a lot of times people will set money goals around this is where I should be in my business. This is what will look good to others. This is what so-and-so is doing. That's all guilt, shame, not enoughness, lack. What I want you to do is tune into what do you really want? What is the life that you really want? What is the impact that you really want? What is the lifestyle that you really want, that fullest expression of you? And then what's the money required for that? And then we allow that to flow to us, right? Now there's action involved, right? And there's service involved. And that's beautiful. It's the give and the take. It's the masculine and the feminine. It's the both and. But any time in my life where I've set a money goal because I thought it was what I should be doing or it would look good or so-and-so was doing it, there's a gap in that. And there's an inherent energy of lack, unworthiness, not enoughness. You're never going to get what you want from that energy, right? When we are tuned into what does my soul desire? What is my fullest soul expression? And then from that place, what amount of money? Because money is the how, money is masculine energy. Okay. So Money is designed to serve the vision, not to be the vision itself. The vision itself is you living your life, right? You looking back on your deathbed at the end of your life, which hopefully for us is like a long time away, right? We got a lot of time, but none of us really know. You looking back at the end of your life and saying, that was a life well lived, right? That was worth trading my life for. That's the vision. The money is just designed to support you in that. And it's going to be different for each of us. But when we make money source, when we make money God, when we make money the vision itself, we put it in the wrong place. So we want to lead with the vision, which is feminine. And we want to let the masculine, the energy, the how, the structure support us in that. Yeah. And Debbie saying, big new takeaway over the last month. If you know the how, go bigger. Yeah, that's it. That's it. That's it. It's not exciting. You already know the how. And two, I'll say one other thing, and then I'll keep going because otherwise I'll spend our entire hour just talking about this. But the way that I approach goals right now and the action around goals, and this is that beautiful blend of the masculine and the feminine. And it wasn't, it took reconditioning. It took a lot of retraining, right, of old habits and setting new ones. But the way that it feels and the way that it is where do I want to go? What's the destination? So just you're a travel expert, Rachel. So I'm talking to all of you, but I'm kind of talking to Rachel here too, because of what she said. Your clients say, I want to go to Disney, or they say, I want to go somewhere. Disney, is that most of it? Yeah. They say, I want to go to Disney. Okay, cool. That's the destination, right? Now, there's going to be a bit of a journey to get there, right? We got to hop on a plane. We got to do the thing. There may be a layover. There may be unexpected turbulence, but I'm not freaking out along the way about like, does Disney exist? Am I worthy of Disney? Is it going to happen? Maybe it's not meant for me. Let's turn the plane around and go back here, right? That's how a lot of people set, like they get it messed up. No, like, you're going to Disney, but you get to become, this is actually how it works with our goals. You get to become the version of you, the person who can have and hold the success. So sometimes there's something unexpected that happens. There's something that feels like turbulence. There's a delay. There's this, there's that. It doesn't mean you're not going there. It means you're getting to become the version of you who can go there and stay there and live. You're now a real estate agent and you're moving people to Disney. Okay. So we're switching it up, but that's it. But when I'm taking action, which is the masculine piece towards my goals, it's what's the next right step. So there's always a next step. Very rarely, if ever, do I know the full, like I'll have a sense sometimes. A lot of times I have no idea. A lot of stuff I'm doing right now in my life, like I know it's happening. I have no idea. I'm just, what's the next step? But it's, again, I'm going to use another travel analogy. It's like you're driving at night, right? You know, you're getting home. It's dark. You can't see the full picture. You see the headlights, the part of the road illuminated by the headlights in front of you. That's how it is when we do this. So with that feminine masculine energy, when it comes to goal setting, we're first determining, where do we really want to go? What's the destination? What's the vision? That's the feminine. Now we're going to go there energetically. We're going to focus on being a match for it, which means thoughts, feelings, actions. Who is the version of me who has that? Because again, you don't get what you want, you get what you are. So that's the actual work. And it's really fun and really exciting and really juicy. And then I'm moving forward. I'm taking the next step. What's the next step? Driving in the dark, but I can see a couple feet in front of me. What's the next step? And it's like we're kind of pulling the thread a little bit, moving to where we want to go. And the action will feel. So I told y'all we were going to talk about masculine action today. Here you go. The action that you take when you are in a quantum leap, when you are moving to a whole nother level, it's going to feel uncomfortable. Like it's probably going to feel pretty darn uncomfortable. This is the alignment piece that Jill was bringing up earlier. So I want to go a little bit deeper into this because a lot of times people will say, well, I want to go here. Like maybe I want to go from 10K to 100K months, or I want to have $1 million business, blah, blah, blah. And I'm thinking that the person who has that would probably do this, this, and this. They'd be showing up on social media way bigger. They'd be, I don't know, they'd be investing in coaching at a certain level. They'd have this type of help at home, whatever, right? But, oh, it doesn't feel aligned. So that means it's wrong. No, it doesn't feel aligned to the old version of you. And if you keep making choices that are aligned with the old version of you, you're going to keep getting the results that the old version of you gets. So the action that we're taking when we're committed to our growth is, the word I use a lot is butt clenching. Like, it's really uncomfortable a lot of times. The ways I've invested in myself over the past 4 years, and I was doing 5-figure investments in coaching and personal development before I really quantum leap, but I don't even know how much I've invested in myself. I don't know, between $300,000 and $400,000 in the past couple years in coaching and personal development. I did it from the end. I did it from the woman who is at the level I want to be at. How does she invest? That didn't feel aligned for the old version of me. It didn't make sense for the old version of me, but it did for the woman who's where I want to be. So you have to start making choices as that person. Does this make sense? You have to start showing up, and it will feel uncomfortable, and you'll come up against fear, right? But I like to reframe it as like, it's uncomfortable. Let's just call it discomfort, because our words have a lot of energy. So we can reframe it. Oh, this is uncomfortable. Yep, it is uncomfortable. And guess what? That means you're growing. That's what it means. So, yeah. All right. Let me get back on track. I'm just going to roll.
Awesome.
Here.
Thank you so much.
I have to remember we have an hour, not 2 hours. So here's what I want to do. I want to actually want to do a client spotlight. I want to do a community member spotlight. And then I want to open it up for some coaching, some integration. And I think what needs to be discussed around masculine and feminine will come out through the coaching. So be thinking about what your question is. And in the meantime, I found out about this woman's quantum leap. Like, it was like in passing. She was like, oh yeah, since I came to the event in April, this happened. It's like, what? So I have the opportunity to bring to you an absolutely beautiful soul today, inside and out. Emma, I see you. Are you available to come off mute? I want to celebrate you today and give you the opportunity to share a little bit about who you are and what's transpired in your life since you started in this community and really studying this material. But Emma, yeah, are you unmuted where you can say hi?
Yeah, can you hear me okay?
Yeah, absolutely. You're such a beautiful soul. I'm so happy and grateful that you're here and that you're part of this community. And you and I connected for the first time back in April, right? At our, you want to share a little bit with everyone about like who you are, what you do, and how you came into the community?
Yeah, absolutely. First, thank you for having me and allowing me this time to share. I adore you. I feel so thankful to be in your circle and be connected with you, because it is absolutely life-changing, and your team as well. Your team is incredible. So thank you so much. Yeah, so I got connected with Elise and the She Sells team back in April through my broker dealer. I'm a part of the financial services industry, and I'm a individual insurance director in the financial services world. So I sell life insurance, long-term care, and disability insurance. And so my broker dealer sent me to one of Elise's conferences, the Mind Over Matter live event in Portland, Maine. And so I attended that in April, which was absolutely incredible and so powerful. And I left a new member of the 10K Club, which was life-changing. And yeah, I over the past probably 2 years, I've had a kind of a series of events just pointing me towards, how do I want to phrase it? Aligning myself with investing in myself. Like, it's Emma, it's time to invest in yourself. It's time to turn inward. It's time to do these things. And Elise had kind of sat me down and we had a very heartfelt conversation about like, what do you want? Like, what do you want in your future? What do you want for you? And my intuition and my heart and my gut were like, this is it. Like, this is where everything has been pointing. This is the time. And so I didn't know how I was going to do it. I didn't know how I was going to make it happen, but I just knew like, hey, I can do this much right now. So that's what I did. Yeah, so that's how I got started. And then
And can I pause you really quick on that? Just super quick.
Yes, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, beautiful. In a minute, I'm going to have you share like what's transpired for you since then, but I want to pull out a couple things that are so powerful. So both the women who you're hearing from this week, Kelsey yesterday and then Emma today, very male dominated environments. And again, shout out to our men who are here. We love you. We appreciate you. We're so glad that you're here. So I want to let you know, like, you are so welcome. We're so happy you're here. There's a different, there's a different energy oftentimes in selling, right? And as a woman, it can feel, well, I'll say this, for the men who we work with and coach, when they learn how to tap into feminine energy, they quantum leap just the same as the women. Like, we all have both types of energy in us. So it's incredibly powerful. But what I want to share is for both of the women who are, who you're hearing from this week, I think a lot of this material was relatively new, right? Like, that it could feel good while you're pursuing your goals. And then actually the better you feel, the more money you make. And it doesn't have to be a grind to be successful. And there's so much conditioning in the business world that that's how it has to be. And it's not actually the case. So I just want to share, like, the women who you're hearing these stories from, it's not like they were like, you know, born and raised learning this. Like, they recently started studying this and these results are happening like that. So it doesn't have to take you a long time. And then the other thing I want to highlight from what you just said, and this is exactly what we were talking about earlier with goal achievement and with pursuing the big vision for your life, you will very rarely have everything you need at the moment for what's required. So that could be a financial investment. It can be the how, right? But you will have enough to get started. This is the power. And this is I'm going to drive in the dark and I'm going to go a couple feet in front of me, but I am going to move forward. I'm not going to let the fact that I don't see the full how yet stop me from moving forward. The how gets revealed after you say yes. The money comes after you say yes. To your point, you were like, I know I want to be in this community. I know I want to be in 10K Club. I want to go deeper in this energy. I don't have the paid in full today. Cool. But I can make a deposit. And then the rest came after you said yes. That's how, this is how I invested in myself often. Right. And I think that any investment that we make that's like an easy invest. I know anytime I've invested in myself and it was really easy, I didn't actually use it. Like, I didn't actually grow. So anyway, before I keep going here, share. So you said yes, you were like, I'm going to take the next step. And then what has happened for you in a short amount of time?
Yeah, I just want to mention one thing. Don't get
Please.
it twisted. Like, your girl was scared because I didn't have the paid in full. I was like, I don't know how I'm going to make this work, but I will figure it out because the masculine energy, right? Like, I can do this. I can do all the things. I have the list. I can do all the things. So I attended the conference. It was absolutely beautiful, super empowering. I came home, and it was about, like, I don't know, maybe a full month later, I closed the biggest case I've ever closed. And it happened to be 16 times, the 16 times what I was averaging. So my income went from here to here in just a month. And it was just one case. And I averaged closing 4 to 8 cases a month. So it was just like this massive quantum leap. And there's a little bit of a backstory. When I went to the conference in April, I had all of these hurdles, which I'd be happy to share with everyone a different time. But Elise kept telling me, like, anytime you have, you know, an immense amount of challenge kind of at your forefront is typically when you're about to hit your next quantum leap or hit your next level. And I'm like, okay, I'm going to trust in this. It's terrifying, but I can do this. And when I had come home from the April conference, again, as she was saying, like, I didn't know anything about feminine energy. And I coach girls basketball, and I'm always talking to them about feelings and all the things, but I just truly didn't know. And when I came home, I literally took a step back and was like, I deserve this. Like, I deserve to let the money come in. I deserve to step back from my to-do list. I deserve to just be present in my wins. Because here's the thing, like, you guys, all of us, men, women, like, we've already done the work. Like, you have already checked all of the boxes, because we know how to grind day in and day out, right? Like, that's what we do. That's why we're all here on this call. Like, we are professionals at that. That's why you're at the levels you're at. But to get to the next one, like, take a pause and just be present in that moment and open your arms and, like, look in the mirror. Like, you deserve it. It is absolutely incredible. And so when that started pouring in, I mean, looking at my bank account, I'm 34. I did not think at 34 I would ever see the number 34 in 1 month in my bank account. It was absolutely unreal. And I owe it to Elise and her team. And the fact that it happened so quickly was just like, I mean, it just truly proves that anything is possible if you can shift your mindset, look inward, and just kind of allow that to happen. So thank you to you. And I will tell you that every single time I talk to you.
Oh my gosh.
Because it's just truly incredible. And it's such a good feeling to know that, like, I'm capable and every single one of you are also capable. So
yeah, beautiful. Well, and thank you. And I received that. And simultaneously, what I want to mirror to you is you did it. Like, you did it. We create the container, we create the space, we provide some, we provide coaching around that, but you did it. And the biggest thing that I hear from what you shared is, well, I hear it so much beautiful from what you shared, but one thing I want to call out is when you got home and you said, I am worthy of this. Y'all, that is the biggest difference. That right there is the difference maker. It really is. And when I personally went from having been stuck at 10K months to suddenly having 100K months, it was one thing. It was, I decided I was worthy of what I wanted. And then I started investing in myself as a woman who was worthy. I started showing up as a woman who was worthy. I started claiming it. I started believing it. That is it. That is it. So you, in that moment of saying, I am worthy of this, you sent out an energetic vibration that changed your reality, right? But you had to take the uncomfortable action first. It's how it works.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's just been absolutely incredible. So,
oh my gosh, I love you. I'm so proud of you. Yeah.
I love you.
Thank you for sharing. And I think the other thing to what you said, like, there's going to be fear, when you're quantum leaping, when you're moving, and you talked about, like, making that investment in yourself, there's fear. But if you think about, if you would listen to that, right, and not moved forward, where would you, it's like, where would you, and we don't even go there or play with that, but how did you, in that moment, how did you move forward past that fear?
I think, what I had said earlier too, like, it adds up. The thought of, the intuition, like, and I say this specifically to women, no disrespect to men, but my mom always taught me, like, women just have that really strong intuition, and to always listen to your gut, because 99.9% of the time it's right. And I just know, and I feel it to my core, that I'm just meant for more. And, I'm 34, I'm single, I don't have kids. Like, I have time to focus on me. And that's not to say if you do that you don't have the time, but I truly do right now at this point in my life. And when I was sitting there with you, I just felt like it was all coming together from the past 2.5 years of me saying to myself, Emma, you deserve more. Like, you deserve more.
Yeah.
And it was just time. Like I really felt it to my core.
Yeah. That's so beautiful. And intuition, I spoke about this a little bit in the training last night, but intuition is quiet, it's calm, it's still, it'll make you uncomfortable a lot of times because it's going to push
Yeah.
the edges of your current comfort zone. And then the brain will kick in and say, oh, well, these are like, that doesn't make sense, or this isn't safe, or this isn't responsible, or this or that. If we listen to that, we don't actually
Mhm.
get to where we want to go, right? We have to learn to discern. And so one way that I make choices for myself is like, if I took time and money out of this, what would my choice be? Take time out, take money out. What's my choice? Boom.
Mhm.
That's your truth. And here's the thing, time and money are both, what am I going to say? They're both some of the how, which again is none of your business. And what I found is when I make a decision in my truth, the money comes and the time figures itself out. Something that I believe is I always have more than enough time for what matters to me. I do. I live in time overflow. I do.
Mhm.
I'm the mom of 2 little boys running a business. Like I live in time overflow. I made that decision for myself because I used to think I'm overwhelmed. I don't have time for this or that. That was my experience. So we shift that and we take those variables out when we're making a decision, and then our truth shows up. And then our job is to move forward on that. Kelsey is saying time overflow. Yeah, I know. I'm guessing in your corporate sales training, they're not talking about being in time overflow.
No, it's definitely more like time management and time blocking.
Yeah, nope. We don't do a whole lot around that here either. Beautiful. Thank you so much. Thank you for sharing. So powerful and so excited. And this is just the beginning for you as well. So,
Yeah, thank
let's-
you.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. Let's move into some open coaching around what's been discussed so far. So we've talked about the feminine, the being, raising to a higher vibration, higher alignment. We've talked some about the masculine action, letting that support you. By the way, tomorrow, we're only going to do this for those of you who are there live, who are here live tomorrow. I'm going to do a guided visualization and meditation all around alignment and frequency, and it's going to be really, really powerful. So I want to just help you continue to connect with the energy of you at your goal accomplished. So join us live for that. Kayla, we're going to need to cut that out of the replay. I want to honor everyone who's here live. But who has a coaching question? You can raise your hand, do the virtual hand so I can see who has a coaching question. And there's no bad questions. Your question is going to help someone else. Like some of you who are in the community, maybe you can also lead by example with a question, but let's get started. Okay, Kelsey, I saw your hand raised first.
This is not a planted question, okay? This is like actually coming up for me in real life. So just
Okay,
to disclose that.
Yeah.
So Elise, one thing that I think is just really helpful for me to understand and also might help some other folks in the community is like how you go about blending and using the masculine to support the feminine, because I'll be transparent here that like, as I've swung more into feminine, I've noticed I've kind of like a pendulum. I've kind of like, I'm over here on the feminine. I kind of let go of my calendar blocking a little bit to give me more space to be creative, because I noticed I was so restrictive, it kind of blocked me. So can you talk us through some best practices around like how you blend the masculine to support your calendar, to support your day, but also leave room for you to be creative and receiving and all that good feminine energy?
Yeah. Oh, this is such a good question. I love this. Okay. So one thing I'll say is it is not uncommon. Like I see this, hold on, there we go. I see it pretty frequently with women when they come in where they discover their feminine energy and then they're like, I didn't even know this existed. And they're like off in a field with a skirt, like twirling. I don't know. At least that was my experience for a while when I discovered. And frankly, I mean, you can still manifest a lot of money and like create a lot of big wins with that. So nothing wrong if you're like in the pendulum swing all the way to the other end. The ultimate, I think, powerful energy to support and sustain you in continued growth is that integration of both. So I'm very aware, like I leverage and I use my masculine energy all the time. All right. However, the energy that I am in is really important. So I used to do the masculine activities with complete disregard to the state that I was in. So I would take the actions, but it would be from a place of shame, guilt, not enoughness, lack, scarcity. So that was a full pendulum swing the other way, right? Now I focus on state first. And then from there, the action actually feels good. Like the action feels amazing. We take a lot of action in our company. Like, God love her, Laura got on a call with me 6 a.m. her time this Saturday to help with a workbook that we're launching for all of our community members. Like and I was on early. I'm an hour ahead, so it was 7 my time, 6 her time, and it was like that's the time that worked for us with our calendar to get on and work on this. But it didn't feel. I don't know, Laura, if it felt heavy. It didn't feel heavy. It felt good and exciting because we're connected to the vision of what we're bringing forth for our clients, right? So state first, action second. And what I've found, my experience has been the higher I go and the more people we're supporting, the more impact we're having, there's more and more, there's both that's needed. I've got to be at a higher, I need to be more supported energetically. So I'm calling people in. Even right now, I'm hiring some coaches and people who can help me like hold energy, and just for myself personally, because there's more people I'm supporting and holding. And then simultaneously, there's a need for more masculine structure in what we're doing. So we're working on that. We're putting all of that into place at an even greater level in our company. And I'm doing it in my life. Like we're bringing in we had a full-time house manager back in North Carolina when we were there. Then when we moved here, I'd actually talked about this just this morning on my live stream. When we moved here, we didn't have that support team. So like I've been doing a lot of the things that I didn't used to do. And so now we're pulling in someone to help there too. So that's actually masculine structure to help. So that level of structure and support gets to go up the more that we elevate. But it's about that blend. And it's always about, I would not take action in my business from a lack, fear, scarcity, disconnected state. Get connected first, that because we can only think to the level of our emotional state. This is neuroscience, this is biology. So if I'm in an emotional state of anger, fear, shame, guilt, any ideas I have for actions to take from that place are only going to get me a result that gets me more anger, fear, shame, guilt, lack. So I want to connect to the feeling state first and do what's needed there. And then from there, take the next right step. Does that help and make sense?
So beautiful. Yes, that makes a lot of sense. The only thing I would add is that sometimes as you're making the shift, it's hard to be in feminine more part in a bigger part of your day than it is for me to naturally be in masculine. So I find myself having to reset to feminine a lot. And then it can feel heavy and just being like, no, I know I should. And then I use kind of like that language, like I should be there. But yeah, I think it's just like spending more time in feminine would be awesome. And that's where it feels like sometimes the energy can kind of shift to masculine, then it starts to feel heavy again. So yeah, sustaining the feminine energy is another piece to it. But that does help a lot though, Elise. Thank you.
Sure. And so every new level is going to reveal to you what your set point is and what your conditioning is. So you're like, and I'm not going to share anything personal, but like, I know you're achieving some big goals this year, right? In your corporate sales job, and you're doing that. So you're going to get to notice, what does my brain tell me I need to be doing for this right now?
Yeah.
And am I finding a tendency towards grind? Am I finding a tendency towards, I got to hustle more? Am I finding that that's like my default mode? If so, there's an opportunity for, I would say, for deeper spiritual connection, whatever that is for you. And for you to also go back and remember and see, okay, when I had my first 350K month, right, which you told us about yesterday, what was the state I was in? What was I doing in that space? As we talk about this in the community, like check your receipts. When you've had your biggest results, your biggest month, your biggest numbers, were you grinding? Were you in massive masculine action, disconnected from the vision? Or no? And what I'm hearing you say is you're in a reconditioning process, and that's okay. And there's nothing wrong with that. You're retraining, and it's like you get a taste of this, right? And you're like, holy crap, this is entirely different from what I've been taught. This is amazing. You get a taste of it, and your body's like, oh, I love this. And I'm making more money, and it's easier. Is this actually real? And so yes. And the more you it's just like I used to live in like low grade anxiety most of the time, and that was my default mode. And then I started doing this work, and I learned for the first time in a long time what it was like to have an open heart. I didn't know what that was. I hadn't had that experience probably since I was a little girl. And I felt that open up. I was like, whoa, and then I started attracting. And then everything started getting easier and shifting. But there was still a process of my body. Like I would still have flares of anxiety or flares because the body was still conditioned to the cortisol and the stress hormones. So I had to keep coming back and doing the work. Right. But I think it's we get to, not we have to, like, wow, I get to pour into I get to invest the time to align with this energy, right? I get to. And so just keep playing with it, keep practicing it. Your body will get reconditioned. But you got to work with it, and it can take some time. So that's okay. You know,
Love that.
okay.
Yeah. Thanks, Elise.
Absolutely. Debbie, I see you up next.
Hi, really good questions you guys were talking about. I just almost a testimonial here that from your last event when I was flying home, I had a 5-day delay, and I got to experience time, how it just really slowed down, like from that moment of seeing that my flight was canceled. And, here I had all this great stuff I was going to take to my assistant several states away, and we were going to map it all out. I just had these visions, and then I see canceled. And I thought, well, all that means, based on this training I have, is that things have shifted, because I don't really believe in the world canceled anymore. So, that led to a standing in a line for 5 hours. It led to all kinds of stuff that, say it was 5 years ago, I would have been in a panic. Say it was 3 years ago, I would have been on the phone calling everyone saying, what should I do? What should I do? If it was 1 year ago, I would have been looking at my bank account going, you don't have the bank account to support you. You're going to have to dig into some deep, 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 idea all on your own. You're on your own. But this time I went, I think the next thing will just keep showing up. And it did. The next thing kept showing up. And sometimes it was positive, like we got you another ticket. Sometimes it was negative, like, oh, sorry, 4 hours later, that one's canceled too. And everything changed, and time just slowed down so that the changes could happen, so that I could stay in my body. And I would really love for you to just, if you don't mind, give us a little coaching on the contrast of our capacity, because the work I've been doing with you has been all around the beliefs of what I thought my capacity is, what it really is, and what I am envisioning myself to go through. Capacity has been the word all through this.
That's
So
good.
can you talk to us just a little bit about when we're seeing contrast, like when we're seeing the word canceled, um, that we have the capacity. I don't know. I don't exactly know what my question is, but
Yeah.
there's something in there that I know you have a lot of resource around to help us to stay in the game.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Welcome back, by the way.
Thank
I'm
you.
glad you're home. And I think what's so beautiful too, and I know you were sharing this in the 50K Marco Polo chat, was just you had an awareness of what was happening. And that was really beautiful to witness in that time when it's like 5-day experience trying to get home. You thought you were going to be home, you thought you were going to be seeing relatives, and all of these things were happening, right? But you had you had the capacity in that moment to be able to look at that and say, I know that everything is always happening for me. So if this was happening for me, what would it mean? So I'll speak to a universal law, and then I'll speak to the capacity piece. And I was sharing this, you may have heard me share this in the 50K chat last week about the law of opposites. Did you hear that piece? So I'll share this for everyone else who wasn't there and part of this conversation. I was sharing this with our mastermind last week. There's a universal law called the law of opposites. And what it means is when you set an intention for something, more money, better health, better relationships, by law, the opposite must first be created in order to create the contextual field from which what you want can emerge. So this can look like you set an intention for your biggest month in business yet, and suddenly it's like all the client payments dry up, or you get a big bill, right? Something happens. You set an intention for better health and you get a health scare. Now here's where we go wrong. Those things happen and we go, oh no, I'm doing something wrong. I'm being punished. Oh, who was I to want more money? It's never going to come. This isn't supposed to happen. This isn't for me. Again, it's the example that we gave before with Rachel. It's really like if you get on the plane to Disney and you hit some turbulence and you're like, oh, we're just not meant to go to Disney. Let me turn back. Okay. This is the law of opposites. When we understand that this is a thing and that there's nothing wrong, and in fact, it means that you're on the right path. It means that what you want is emerging, but you're being given the space to define both what you want and who you are in this moment, who you are. Then you understand that actually it's a sign that you're on exactly the right track. So some of the times the biggest contrast in my life have been when I had been excuse me, calling in a whole nother level, right? A whole nother level. And then suddenly it felt like contrast, contrast, contrast. I am grateful to understand how this works, because what was happening in that moment, and Debbie, to your question about the capacity, is you are simply being given the opportunity to become the woman who can have and hold what you want. This is the key. So the capacity piece, let's say we want more money flowing in our lives. There's an energy to more money. I have to be able to hold that energy. Now, this has to do with our body, right? And the energetic field around our body. This has to do with my belief systems about money and how it works for me. And so I call them refining times, refining seasons, when we are given opportunities that stretch the edges of our current boundaries. The whole point is to expand our capacity. You know, I've talked about this a lot, and yet I know you know this, but we've got some new people who's like, last year, when suddenly in 48 hours, we moved into a new spot, had a new baby, 2 kids. We thought we were settled there. My husband gets the call, you've got to be up in Maine in 48 hours to go to school here. And I suddenly am like, holy crap, I have a huge appreciation for single parents and running the business and now figuring out how to get the family up to Maine. And my capacity grew. It was hard. It felt hard. My capacity grew. I became the woman who I needed to be in order to do the things that we are now doing in our family and in our business and in life. So you are becoming the woman who can have and hold the success that you desire in those moments of contrast. Does that help? It makes sense?
Oh yeah, yeah, it
Yeah.
really does. Because I was a little worried that I was bypassing something because I wasn't the Debbie I had known, scared, panic, lonely,
You were
all of
worried that you
those
were
things, I was just like, where'd you go, girl? Where'd you go? So instead it
Yeah,
was just kind of like, what's next?
beautiful.
Just everything was what's next. So it's
Beautiful.
the law of opposites. Thank you for saying
Yeah.
that, explaining that. I appreciate you.
Yeah, absolutely. That's beautiful. We'll see how many more. We may have time for one more. Let's see. I'll try to get to as many women as we can. Angela, go ahead.
Hi, and you're right. I am getting a lot out of everything everyone is sharing.
Yeah.
Debbie, similarly, it was a struggle for me to get home. I was the most heavily resourced version of myself I've ever been in a
Mm.
challenge like that. And it was so beautiful to experience myself being able to stay grounded and in my body and focus on being in beautiful energy. And everywhere I went, spreading that and watching bubbles of energy continue to, like,
Mm.
I was a positive force in the world in what was a really, really difficult day for a lot of people. And what a gift to walk out of that live event and immediately have an opportunity to stay true to who I was. So my question has more to do with the bonus material, and you really brought it. Holy smokes, in that bonus. Thank you.
Good.
And the entitlement, like the wounded feminine got me,
Okay.
really convicted me. And the entitlement of not wanting to have to work for what I want. I sense a little bit of that in me too.
Okay, cool.
And maybe it's not the not wanting to work, or both, and being afraid to work and have it not work out. And how does
Okay.
that tie into the feeling worthy of receiving? Is it all the same ball of wax, just a different side of that same thing?
There's a lot in the question. It's really good. So
Simple
let me see
question,
what
it's
I
fine,
can,
right?
no, it's good. Let me see what I can answer in this amount of time. So the entitlement. So let's speak to another universal law. All right. Law of compensation. So I'm assuming most everyone here wants to make more money. Like that's a big piece of why we're here, right? We'd like to receive more. We'd like to have more flow in. And there's a lot of different ways that can happen. Now, if you are open, and I've seen this happen a lot with members of our community who initially had a belief that the only way that they could receive money was through their business or through their sales career. And so whatever you believe is going to be true, they open up, they practice being worthy to receive. Brooke, I'm looking at you and you have to come up here, but like they receive money in unexpected ways. But you had to create that belief first that it could flow through to you. But the energy of gratitude and worthiness is different from the energy of entitlement. So the universal law, the law of compensation, means that we are always compensated according to the value we bring in the world, the need for what we have to offer, how good we are at doing it, and how difficult it would be to replace us. So I say that to say there's a lot of ways to bring money in, and it can come in a lot of different ways. Your business is a channel. Unexpected tax refund, it's a channel. Partner, it's a channel, and money wants to come to you through the most convenient channel, right? However, the way that I think about it is to be a match for what I desire, there is a contribution that my soul is meant to give on this planet. That if I am going to like sit back and just expect stuff to come to me with me not offering my gifts to the world, that like you're only going to receive so much from that, right? And it's actually, at the end of the day, it's not going to feel good or fulfilling or satisfying to you either. So there's so much in what you asked, and we've got about a minute. So the piece that I would say, maybe we can work on this tomorrow because we'll have more time for live coaching tomorrow. But the fear around what happens if I go for it and it doesn't happen, right? That's a different piece. That's a different piece. Here is what I know. You, and I'm saying this to Angela, and I'm also saying this to each of you. You have something written on your soul that you are meant to bring forth into this planet. And it is meant to come through you. Not through me, not through Laura, not through Debbie, not through Kayla, not through Brooke, through you. All right? Your unique gifts, perspective, talent, right? That is the soul-aligned goal, vision. When you follow that and you take steps in that direction, it will feel uncomfortable. There will maybe some fear pop up because you haven't done it before. You're putting yourself out there. You're getting more visible. It must turn out to be what you think or something better by law. By law. Okay? So I'd love to go deeper with you into this tomorrow, but you can't mess it up. You can't get it wrong. And again, stop being so attached to the outcome, the success of my business, this many clients, this or that, and instead get attached to who do I get to become in the process of pursuing his masculine energy, but we're going to use that word, in the process of pursuing this, in the process of becoming a match for this. Make that the goal, right? Like I think about that with everything we're doing in the company right now. Like it's big. It's big. And I've got a beautiful vision and my team holds a beautiful vision. We're all doing it, but we're going for that. And simultaneously, the work we do every day is on who do we get to be in order for this to unfold. Does that make sense? Hold on, you just moved on my screen.
Yeah, so I was hearing you talk and getting attached to outcomes and almost self-judging instead of focusing on who
That's it.
I
Yeah.
am. Thank
Yeah.
you.
That's exactly it. Make that the focus. Yeah, absolutely.
Amen for all of us, right?
Amen. Amen. I love it.
Thank you.
All right, beautiful souls. We're gonna come back tomorrow for our last day. I'm so excited to spend time with you again. We're gonna do a guided meditation and visualization tomorrow. You got to be there live to get it. If you had a question today, you didn't have time to get it answered, please bring it tomorrow. Okay. If you want to connect with myself, with Laura, with our team about anything we're talking about or additional support, you should have hopefully heard from one of us by now via text or email. Reach out. We are more than happy to jump on a call with you Thursday, Friday to talk through everything that we're talking about, to discuss how we can support you further from here as well. So we are here. Connect with us. Love you. We'll see you tomorrow. Have an amazing afternoon. Bye-bye, everyone.